There are lots of different crystal structures, and some of them get pretty gnarly. Let's instead start with a really simple one, and those are the metallic crystal structures. And there's three important ones that we're going to learn about. There's BCC, that's body-centered cubic, FCC, face-centered cubic, and HCP, hexagonal close-packed. Let's start with FCC first. What do all these things have in common, these metal structures? They're all relatively densely packed. Why? Well, because atoms that are metals, remember, they share their electrons in the so-called sea of electrons, right? So they're delocalized all the way around them, and so they all sort of squeeze together to best share those electrons that are delocalized. Therefore, because they're densely packed, you tend to have really high what's called coordination number. Coordination number is just the number of surrounding atoms that surround each atom, okay? We'll talk more about that later. Okay, so what is the FCC face-centered cubic structure? Well, important elements like aluminum, silver, gold, copper, these are all FCC or face-centered cubic. Here's how it works. Since these are in the cubic system, we're going to start by drawing a cube. If you haven't drawn a cube before, start with two squares. If you want, you can do it like this. Two squares just offset from each other, connect the corners. I like to do it with dashes so you can see what's in front and what's behind. So, start with a front like that. I draw that, and then add dashes. There you go. You've got a cube. Easy peasy. So, like the name suggests, you have atoms at the faces. But in every cubic system, you've always got atoms at the corners as well. So let's start with corners. We have 8 corners, so we're going to place atoms on each of those corners. And now, like the name suggests, we're going to put atoms at the faces. So at the front face, now we're going to go to the back. There's one at the back face, at the top, at the bottom, at the right, and the left. Right? So now you can see that this is the face-centered cubic crystal structure. Atoms on the corners and atoms on the faces, just like a dice. Like there's one on each one of the faces. Now, since these are made up of all the same type of atom, we're going to assume a hard sphere model. We talked about that before. Basically, atoms are like marbles. They're going to come together till they touch. So in this structure, I've drawn them not touching, right? You've got big gaps, right, along this face here. That gap wouldn't exist, right? They're going to be touching instead. So let's take a look at this in Vesta. That's a crystal structure drawing software. So here's our FCC crystal structure. You can see that, again, there's my atoms at the corners. That's these ones right here, right? You can see those. And then you've got atoms on the faces. That one's on the face of that unit cell. You see that? Now again, this is not shown in the hard sphere model, but if you do space filling, all of a sudden you can see how these would look if they were to expand and touch one another. You can see these things are going to touch right there. So along what? That's the face diagonal. Along the face diagonal, these atoms are going to touch. They're not going to touch along the lattice edge, right? The edge, because there's going to be a gap there. Instead, they would touch along the face diagonals. No matter which face you're looking at, they're touching along the face diagonals. Okay? So that is our face-centered cubic structure. Well, what do we know about it? Well, what would be great to know would be something like, what is the length of this edge right here? This length of what we call the lattice parameter, or the unit cell edge, we'd love to know that. We call it A, right? So what is the value of A? Well, we just talked about it. We said that okay, they are touching along the face diagonal. So if you knew how big your atom was, from geometry, you could figure out how long one of these lengths are. Let's do it together, right? Let's draw just one of these faces, okay? So if we draw just the face, and we're going to draw it with the atoms drawn to size, it might look something pretty close to this. Okay. So they would be then touching along this direction, along the face diagonal. So if we wanted to know what the edge length was, A, how do we figure it out if we know how big the atom is? Well, if the atom has a certain radius, right? Radius right there. What is A in terms of that? Well, what would the blue line be equal to? The blue line, using Pythagoras' theorem, we know that it's equal to square root of 2 times A, right? Whatever A is, that diagonal line in a square is going to be square root of 2 times A. And we can see in this picture that it's made up of how many radii? 1 radius, 2 radius, 3 radius, 4 radius. So square root of 2 times A is going to be equal to 4 times our radius. How cool is that? That allows us to go ahead and plug in the radius, and you can solve for the lattice parameter of your structure, right? So in this case, for copper, for example, the radius is, it says if the lattice parameter is 3.601, so that's this value, 3.601 angstroms, right? It says what is the atomic radii of copper in angstroms? Great, we can do this. Square root of 2 times that, divide it by 4, equals our radius. When I punch that into a calculator, I find out that the radius of copper ought to be 1.27 angstroms. 1.27 angstroms. Let's test and see if that's what it actually is. Yeah, check it out. This one lists copper at 140 picometers, which would be, this would be 127 picometers. So we're pretty darn close. We're within 10% or so. That's pretty great, right? How about this question? How many atoms are there per FCC unit cell? This one gets a little tricky. Let's come back and take a look at this in Vesta. How many atoms are there in this unit cell? Well, you might at first be tempted to just start counting these things, saying, all right, there's one on this corner here. All right, there's one, and then another one over here, that's 2. But that's not quite right, because those atoms aren't completely inside the unit cell, and we only want to count those that are completely inside. So if you look right along the face, what fraction of this atom here is inside the unit cell? It looks like 1/4, but it's not, because remember, half of it is inside the cell and half of it is outside. So it's actually 1/8. 1/8 of each of the corners are inside. I'm going to go back to ball and stick for a minute here. So these atoms that are on the corners are actually only 1/8 of the way inside the unit cell. What about these ones that are on the faces? Well, looking right along the face, we see that those must be half in and half out, right? This makes sense? So the ones on the corner are 1/8 in, and there's 8 of them. The ones on the faces, there's 6 of them, top, bottom, left, right, front, back, and they're half in and half out. So let's add up how many atoms there are total per unit volume, right? Unit cell volume. Right? There is 1/8 times 8 plus 1/2 times 6. Therefore, it's 1 plus 3. There are 4 atoms per unit cell. Okay? There are 4 atoms per unit cell. Now, something that's interesting is that in this structure, the corner and the face-centered atoms are the exact same. They have the same symmetry. It just depends on where we place our origin. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Imagine this. I'm going to add some additional unit cells here just to show you. Let's do 3 by 3, for example, right? So now let's look at this along this direction. So we're going to look along the C axis, so one of these axes. So we know that the ones on the corners, you can see them right here. Let's highlight them. These ones are the corner ones. All right, let me highlight a few. Those are all my corner ones. So the next cell over these would be corners, 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 and so forth. Those would all be my corner atoms. Now, these ones could just as easily be the lattice parameters. You could draw another cube right there, and if these were the corners, these would be on the faces, right? So this is a little harder to see, but that would be, see it there now? These 4 around it, this one, that one, this one, and that one form a square with that one in the dead center of it. See it? How it's right in the center? So they're actually the same type of atom. It's arbitrary which one we chose to be the corner and the face. Okay? What else can we say about these? Something that's useful with the FCC crystal structure is to calculate the atomic packing factor. If we go back to the iron wire demo, we know that when it went from BCC to FCC, it shrunk. Those atoms packed together more tightly. So let's figure out how to do this. Let's calculate it. The atomic packing factor is going to be equal to the volume of the atoms per unit cell divided by the volume of the unit cell. And since we're talking about cubic structures, that makes this really easy. The volume of the unit cell is just going to be A cubed. Whatever your lattice parameter length is along the side of the cube, cube that, and you get the volume of the cube. What about the volume of atoms, right? The volume of atoms, if we're assuming that these are like spheres, then the size is 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is the radius of those atoms. Okay? So let's do an example here. What should be the atomic packing factor for FCC? what fraction of the space should be occupied by atoms versus not. Again, if we come back here, let's draw just a single unit cell again. And we're going to make it space filling. How much of this atom is empty space versus filled space? How much of this unit cell is empty space versus filled space? Let's do the calculation. Let's write volume of atoms per unit cell. All right, the atomic packing factor is equal to volume of atoms per unit cell. How many atoms were there? We decided there's 4 atoms per unit cell. Each one of these atoms has a volume of 4/3 pi r cubed. And then we're going to divide this by the volume of the unit cell. That's a cubed. So we can't punch this in because r and a won't cancel out. But what can we do? We can come back up here and we can use this handy dandy ratio right there to solve in terms of r or a. Doesn't matter which one. Let's solve in terms of a, right? So every time we see an r, we're going to write square root of 2 times a divided by 4. All right, so let's do that. So this becomes 4 times 4/3 pi, and then for our r value, remember, what are we going to put for r? We just solved for it. This equals r, square root of 2 times a divided by 4. So we're going to put square root of 2 times a divided by 4. Cube that, because that's r, and divide this by a cubed. When you punch this into a calculator, you'll find that it's equal to 0.74. Or in other words, 74%. 74% of this structure is filled up with atoms. About 26% is open space in this crystal structure. And this is actually the most dense that you can pack atoms that are all the same size. You can't pack it more dense than this. 74% is the maximum you can do. Now you could get it more dense. If, for example, you took a really small sphere and you started packing it in the interstitials, then you could go more dense, right? But if they're all the same size, 74% is as good as you can get, all right? This is the highest possible packing factor for mono-sized spheres. Then one last thing before we leave FCC crystal structure is, what would be the coordination number for FCC? Remember, what did coordination number mean? It's the number of atoms that surround each atom. Closest, nearest neighbors. So let's come over here. If you were to pick an atom, say this one, right, this guy right there, how many nearest neighbors does that atom have? Well, let's take a look at it. You could start counting here. You'd say, well, it's touching these 4 on the corner here, so it's got at least 4 that's close to. But if you look at this way, it's touching those 2. But remember that this atom also, this unit cell also has another one in front of it, right? We could just as easily have drawn another one over here. So it would actually be touching the 4 that we started with, right? The 4 that shared the face with it right here. The one behind it here, the one underneath it behind it there. But it would also have 2 more in front of it. So we're up to 8 so far. And then it's also touching these ones right here. It's touching this one and that one. And then 2 more in front of it. So it's 4 plus 4 plus 4. Its coordination number is 12. So it's coordinated by 12 atoms. That's a high number. That's very high for crystal structures, a coordination number of 12. Right? Having 12 means that it is densely packed because you've really squeezed this together with as many as it could. And that's why you get such high densities out of the face-centered cubic crystal structure.